Well, hello, it's Dexter and me coming to you on YouTube. What is? Hang on, something just fallen over.
Cardinal Fang! Fetch the comfy chair.
Yes, that's right. Pull up your comfy chair, grab a coffee, sit down and watch.
During the meanwhilest...
No. On what is the hottest day in living memory for me. I got a thermometer outside on a north-facing wall in the shade, and it's 35 degrees. And I chose today, rather foolishly, to rejoint the cobblestones on my driveway. So if I look a complete and utter sweaty mess, more than usual that is, then I must apologise, because I've been working hard, going through the pain barrier to make my driveway look nice. Right, today's video is the 2-month ownership update of my Volkswagen ID3. I made a first impressions video, and I made a pretty quick review then just after that, and I promised that I would make another video a couple of months into ownership, and here it is. Yeah, I've had the car now for 8 weeks, 2 months then, and it's been by and large okay. Let's get the good points out of the way first, and then we move on to some of the less good ones. Right, in that 8 weeks we've covered about 1,300 miles, and obviously not put a drop of fuel in the car. Going by my the car's thingy, data usage thingy, its efficiency is, and I'm just going to check this out and get it right, 4.5 kilowatt hours per mile, which I understand is quite reasonably economical. Now I know some cars get 6 kilowatt hours per mile, and some get like only 2 kilowatt hours per mile, but mine is getting 4.5, and I'm quite happy with that. And no more visits to petrol stations, so yes. Other plus points, sorry, the interior space is a revelation for me, coming from an Audi TTS. It is fantastically roomy inside, very, very comfortable, very easy for me to get in and out of with my bad back. The only problem we got is, and I should have gone for something with electric seats, is that I'm 6 foot, my wife is 5'2" on a good day, if you believe her. So we're forever adjusting the seats up and down. It's not a criticism of the car, obviously, but more of my life choices. The exterior design, now I know this is subjective, but I like it. It's futuristic enough without being like too wacky. I went for the 18-inch alloy wheel option on mine because I couldn't have faced having like small steel wheels on a modern car. It's unusual having drum brakes at the rear, but I understand that given the regenerative braking of the ID3's motor, that they don't really need disc brakes all around. And I'm certainly noticing when I'm cleaning the car or washing the car that there's very, very little brake dust even on the front wheel. I drive with it in B mode, which is regenerative, so well, honestly barely touch the brake pedal when I'm driving, so the brakes are probably going to last forever, and the rear, as I understand, are like a sealed for life unit. The car does get plenty of admiring glances while out on the road. Well, some admiring ones, and some, what's that? You know, what the hell is that sort of thing? But no, mostly admiring glances, including a rather flattering stare from some police officers the other day. At least I think they were looking at the car. Inside, the design is minimal, and I really like that. It gives a lot of space inside the car. It's got dark headlining, which is quite nice. I like to have a dark headlining. I like that kind of almost hemmed in feel, if you like. But then the car is really roomy. The back seats, there's tons of room in the back. I often ride in the back of the car rather than the front, and sitting behind Lisa, it's like riding in like a stretched limousine, to be honest. There is so much space. Technology, it's got everything you would want. I've got the bog standard basic, is it a Life model, I think, something like that. Oh yeah, I better explain. I have got the 58 kilowatt hour Pro Performance model, so it's the 204 PS, 200 brake horsepower model. The tech's got, as I said, got everything you need. You can preheat the car, pre-cool the car, which in this weather is lovely, though I haven't actually tried to do that myself. Yeah, it's got everything you'd ever want, to be honest. The acceleration is quite addictive. It's really a very, very fast car. I measured 0 to 60 in just over 6 seconds. VW's figure is 7.3, but I did just over 6 on a slight uphill stretch as well, actually, with my daughter in the car with me. So probably could have taken, I don't know, 2/10 off that and got to, like, say, right about 6.2 seconds, whatever. But it's fast. It's quick enough. I haven't taken it up to its top claimed speed, obviously, because I wouldn't do that on British roads. But yeah, if they were to ever bring out a GT version of this car, like a ID3 GT, I couldn't call it GTI, really, could they? Whatever. If they brought out a GT version, I'd be very interested in getting one of those. The sound the car makes, again, it's futuristic, and it's obviously very, very quiet. Which is a bit of a pain in car park situations, because I have had a couple of people like walk out in front of or behind the car because it doesn't really make much of a sound. And I thought these electric cars had to make a certain level of sound by law, but I can't hear anything on mine when it's just being manoeuvred around. When you pull off, when you drive in, it's got a very sort of satisfying, futuristic whoosh type sound, which is quite nice. And I think on the plus points, that's around about it. Oh, charging's a piece of cake. I've got a home pod point charger installed. I've only used it twice, I think. Yeah, twice. When I charge the car up to full, I've done that a couple of times now, and it's giving me a range of something like 320 odd miles. Because most of our driving is pretty much around town, and if you only do around town driving with a regenerative braking, you are going to hit that claimed range quite easy. It's if you take it on the motorway or on an extended longer run that you're not going to hit those figures, because the car's simply not as efficient at speed and on sort of continuous drives. It's more efficient when it's being stopped and started. Right then, dislikes. There's not much, but and things that are not sort of dislikes, but less likable. But there is one serious issue that I will come to at the end of this video, and I'm going to check my little list now. Right then, yeah, the tech. As I said, the tech is great. It's got everything you'd want, but it's got everything you'd want behind Volkswagen's new touchscreen system. And I don't like it. It's reasonably responsive, but then sometimes it's glitchy, like not all the windows will come up, things like that. Sometimes you turn the car on and the thing doesn't come on at all, and then you've got to press the power button to bring it on, and sometimes you don't have to press the power button. So it's, it's one of these things where it's like not a constant issue, but say 1 times out of 10 when I get in the car, the screen won't come on. So I press the power button and the screen comes into life. What else is there? There are no physical knobs for things like volume, fan speed and temperature. Instead you've got those slidey things, and they're a pain in the backside, especially at night, because at night they're not illuminated, so you're fumbling around in the dark trying to guess like where everything is. Now operating a car shouldn't, to my mind, involve an awful lot of muscle memory. That's for things like cameras, not cars. Cars should be straightforward, and if there's something to be changed, that you change a lot, there should be a button or a knob for it, as far as I'm concerned, and not hidden behind menus in a touchscreen. Now, as far as the touchscreen goes, we've experienced a couple of minor glitches. I'm just going to read my list now, right? It freezes. Sometimes the touchscreen will freeze. We've had one time where a telephone call wouldn't disconnect. No matter what we did, call would not disconnect. Apple CarPlay, the wireless Apple CarPlay, is hit and miss. When it works, it's great. When it doesn't work, it's a pain in the backside. Now, I like to listen to my radio and have Waze on my screen. So Waze is like a satellite navigation thing on iOS or Android Auto or Android, and it's a really, really good sat nav thing, and because it's sort of it's more real time. Waze users update stuff, so if there's like an incident or an accident or roadworks or a speed camera van perhaps, then you're alerted to that in advance. But sometimes I'll turn my Apple CarPlay on, so I'll hit the Apple CarPlay icon, and it all comes up with all my sort of Apple CarPlay icons. Hit Waze and nothing happens. Hit Waze again, nothing happens. Hit Waze a third time, it'll come on, or the screen will go blank. And then eventually Waze will come on and the radio will go off. So then I have to go back into the screen, turn the radio back on, and then go back into Waze via Apple CarPlay, and it all works fine. It's fine. One thing that doesn't work, again, intermittently, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, is the little orange button on Waze that you press to bring up your alert thing. So if I spot something on the road, say roadworks or traffic or whatever, I can press that button and warn other Waze users of that. And now it doesn't work. It worked the first few times I used it, and now it's not working at all. So I've not changed anything. There's been no update to Waze on my phone, no software update in the car. It's just decided not to work. A couple of nights ago, I was, this is quite a long list, reversing the car into the garage, and of course you've got the parking sensors coming on, and they go beep, 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 and at the end it's sort of beep, and so I turned everything off, and the car was still going beep. So I thought, okay, that's a bit strange. So turned the car back on again, turned it off, beep, turned the car back on again, drove it on the block, and all the time I was driving it, it was beep as I was driving. So I got back to the garage, parked the car back up in the garage again, still wouldn't go off. The only way I could find to cure it was to hold the power button down on the infotainment system for, I think it's about 15 seconds, and it stopped. But that shouldn't happen. That shouldn't happen. Right, the electric mirrors are great. When I'm putting the car in the garage, it's a bit of a kink to get in, so I need to retract the mirrors. Now, if I get in and then forget to fold out the mirrors again, the next time you get in the car and drive off, the mirrors won't fold out. So you've got the switch on the door to unfold the mirrors, and nothing will happen. Nothing will happen. No matter what you do, you cannot get the mirrors to fold back out. So now I got to make sure that I remember, if I fold the mirrors in before I turn the car off, I got to fold the mirrors back out again. Otherwise, they just simply will not fold out for love nor money until eventually. And by doing exactly the same thing as you've been doing 5 or 6 times previously, they will unfold. It's just completely bizarre. I'm just checking my list again to make sure that I'm not missing anything. I don't think so, no. Right, now then, for the very serious problem that we had. About 3-4 weeks ago, I was driving to the mother-in-law's when the car emitted a loud beeping noise, and on the dashboard came up a message saying something along the lines of information and warnings unavailable, please drive carefully. I thought, oh, here we go, what's this now? So I thought, shall I pull in and, you know, turn the car on, off and on? I thought, no, I'll wait until I get to my in-laws. It wasn't far away. I had, the main screen was working, so I had like a speed display on my Waze on that screen, because thankfully that was working. Anyway, got to my mother-in-law's, turned the car off, turned it back on again, still the same. And now, not only was that message coming up on the screen, but I couldn't engage drive, brake, the DB or reverse. The turning thing was completely dead. And eventually, the front screen went blank, completely blank. So I thought, right, okay, I'll go and do what I got to do with my mother-in-law's and come back to the car and turn it back on and see what happens. Got back to the car, blank screen, opened the door, sat in the seat, blank screen, nothing, wiggled the controls, absolutely nothing at all. The car was effectively dead. So I rang VW Recovery, who said they would come and tow me to my local VW dealer and arrange a courtesy car, because the car was obviously dead. While I was on the phone, sat in the driver's seat of the car, while I was on the phone and did absolutely nothing, car came back to life. I hadn't touched anything, didn't do anything. So I told the guy on the phone, look, it's come back to life. I'm now going to drive it to the dealers. They were very, very good. He said, yeah, fair enough. If it happens again, we'll treat you as a callback, so you won't lose your place in any queue or anything like that. Anyway, I got to the dealer. They had the car for about 3 hours, plugged it into the diagnostic thing, couldn't recreate the problem, couldn't find anything on the diagnostics, which was a bit of a worry. And the only explanation they could give is that the car had a brain fart. Now, for the first, I don't know, week, 10 days after that, I kind of lost all confidence in the car. I didn't want to go anywhere, in case we got stranded and stuck. It was about 3-4 weeks ago, and it hasn't happened again. But sometimes we get an issue whereby you get in the car and the car doesn't come to life. You have to press the power button on the steering column. Now, not very often does that happen, but it's happened a couple of times, and it shouldn't. So again, the dealers have found nothing wrong with the car, which of course is a worry and is causing a degree of anxiety amongst us when we do then go out, because you don't think, is this going to happen again? Anyway, it hasn't happened again since. Touch wood. It hasn't happened again since, and hopefully it'll never happen again. But it kind of did spoil our enjoyment of the car. Right, that is it for this scorching hot day. That is my 2 months with my Volkswagen ID3. It's a lovely car, but it's got problems. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. I hope you found this video in some way useful and entertaining, even if it's just watching me sweat. Yeah, so thanks very much for watching. Stay safe, stay well. We'll be back on Saturday with my tribute to the landscape photographer Ansel Adams, and we will see you then. So until then, thanks for watching, take care, stay safe, stay well, we'll see you soon. Bye bye.